Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So before we get into the fart tax today, I figured I'd give you a little update on the weather. So you want to live in Wyoming, you want to move to Wyoming, you want anything to do with Wyoming, you've got to be prepared for weather like. So we'll run over here to weather.gov. It's currently 3 degrees outside, but that's not where the kicker is. You can see all of this red, this wind chill warning. So tonight, we're going to see a little bit chance of snow, probably 1 to 3 inches. I'll be surprised if it actually snows. It's going to be really cold. So typically, we don't see a lot of that snow. We've got a low around minus 14 tonight. Around minus 14 tonight. You're going to have winds gusting to 21 miles an hour. Yeah, it's going to be cold tonight. But that's not the really bad one. So tomorrow, we have a high of minus 5 with the wind chills. We're looking at minus 40. Yes, you heard me right. Minus 40 tomorrow wind chills. Absolutely crazy. This might be the coldest stretch of weather I've seen since being here. I've been here 5 years now. So Wednesday night, low around minus 25. Again, wind chills minus 40 with a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind after midnight. Thursday, another minus 5. And then, once we get through Thursday night, looks like it starts to warm up right around Christmas. We'll have a high around 40. So that's your weather report. Lots of minus, lots of cold, lots of freezing. You want to move to Wyoming. That's what you have to deal with. Now, today, I thought we would get into a story. It came out of the Zero Hedge, but I want to tell you a little story that goes with it. First, we're going to run through this article, and then I'll give you why this just seems absolutely preposterous to me. And this is not okay, and this is not on the up and up. Anyway, let's get into it. So this article out of the Zero Hedge, forget oil. Now they are coming for the cows. I would argue that cows have become to today's society what the buffalo were to the Indians back then. And I'm going to draw some comparisons, and we'll get there when we get into this next article. But let me first explain to you what's going on. So the Dutch government said it would buy out as many as 3,000 of the biggest emitters, farmers, in a voluntary one-time offer. While the weather turns cold and gas supplies become scarce, the Green Gang in Holland is setting aside $25.6 billion to fund the transition. Those who refuse will be forced out of business, reports Bloomberg. So they're buying up 3,000 of the largest farms. There's actually massive protests going on by farmers in the Netherlands. This is not popular. I don't know how this will produce food security. I guess apparently food security is not important to the Dutch government. I don't care if you eat, as long as the grass is green and the birds can chirp, whatever birds do. Okay. So if we also take a look at New Zealand, heavily farmed New Zealand, where agricultural exports account for half of the country's exports, the government passed a law in hopes that net agricultural emissions will be reduced 24% by 2050, with farmers being forced to cut emissions 10% in just 3 years. And the emissions levy comes into force. It's just absolutely, utterly ridiculous. The so-called fart tax will be reinvested in the industry through incentives, research, and technology. So New Zealand can reposition itself as a leader in ethically produced, higher value food, a market that is growing as consumers become more climate and health conscious, Bloomberg reports. Let me put this in perspective for you. A dozen eggs cost me $9 now. An egg is almost $1 a piece. I can remember when eggs were like pennies a piece. Now, while older, I'm not that old that I should be able to discern that big of a difference. This does nothing to help the consumer. You think you're poor now, you think you're struggling now. Wait till these ludicrous bills go into place. 3,000 of the largest farms in the Netherlands. New Zealand imposing these heavy taxes on these farmers are going to have no choice but to pass this along. I don't know if you've seen farmers' margins. They can't afford increases like this and increase taxes. And I think the overall purpose, and I'm about to get to it, is they're using cows like the American government did to the Native Americans to get rid of them. Now, what am I talking about? So in this article here by David Bunnell on medium.com, he highlights some really good points, and I think they're points that carry through to now. Once there were 50 to 100 million buffalo. They were the most numerous large mammals to ever exist on the face of Earth. Traveling in large herds, they dominated much of North America from the Missouri River to the Rocky Mountains, from Mexico to Saskatchewan. Okay? Yeah. The Indians lived and breathed by buffalo. Hides mattered, all the organs mattered. They used every piece of the buffalo. So in 1871, an American soldier named George Anderson sent a letter to his sweetheart describing a herd he saw. I am safe in calling this a single herd, he wrote, but it's impossible to approximate the millions that compose it. It took me 6 days on horseback to ride through it. You're going to tell me that cows on one farm are destroying the environment when you had animals that are anywhere from 2 to 3 times the size of a cow existing in this magnitude, and they didn't destroy the environment? I find that preposterous. I find it preposterous that buffalo farts are not way more potent than cow farts. Hard for us to imagine now. Buffalo were once so in such abundance that they could literally drink a river dry. There is no farmer out there. I don't care. You've all seen Yellowstone. I know you're watching that show. There are not enough cows to do what they're describing here. There's no herd on any ranch in the US that takes 6 days to ride through it. It's just not possible. This is phony climate science. It's not real. It's a bunch of BS. The Plains Indian is considered the buffalo a gift from the Great Spirit. Absolutely. Cows are the same thing. They are the lifeblood. They are the food that drives modern society. This is nothing more than climate activists and people using the same methods that they use on the American Indians to take out modern civilized society. While the word buffalo was derogatory, this is just a fun line I just wanted to read. If you were tricked or cheated, you were buffaloed. And fat women were buffaloes. Yes, they're fitness models now. Back then they were buff. Anyway, when I asked my Lakota friend Vernal White Thunder, awesome Indian name. If I'm getting an Indian name, I want it to be White Thunder. I'm not gonna lie. About buffalo, he said, buffalo were the basis of our life. We ate all the meat, the humps, tongue, heart, marrow. Some even ate the testicles and fetuses. We used the hides for making moccasins, teepee covers, robes, and leggings. We used buffalo hair for ropes, sinew for bowstrings, horns for spoons and cups, hooves for rattles, teeth for ornaments, the bladder for a container. We even used the dung for fuel. With buffalo dung, you could keep a fire going for days. And here's the key line that really struck me and really stuck out. The U.S. Army defeated us by killing off the buffalo. How sadly true, I thought. These global environmentalists are going to kill us off and do away with us by getting rid of the cow. The cow is the new buffalo. The white man, the black man, the Asian man, every woman depends on cows. Think of your leather goods. Think of your food products. Think of your dairy. It is the new buffalo. We use it for everything. It is the lifeblood of food security. And this is what they're targeting. They're going to take you out just like they took out the American Indian by taking out the cows. This would never fly in Wyoming. I will tell you this much. These ranchers here are tough. They're old cowboys. They will go out guns a-blazing. But for the ones that aren't, stand by your farmers in the Netherlands. These guys that are fighting up and standing for this, you guys need to be aware of this, need to be seeing this, need to be supporting these guys. No different than the truckers in Canada. But this is how they're going to undermine us, and this is how they're going to take us out. They're going to cut out the food supply. I encourage you guys to go check out this article. I'll leave links to both. I'll leave links to the weather report too. If you really want that, just put it down in the comments. Let me know. I'll throw it back in. But anyway, yeah, go hug a cow, thank a cow, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.